Hello BookTube, welcome to Lizziefayelovesbooks. I'm Elizabeth and it's day 3 of the great book purge. I hope you saw my video that I have already posted, with the beginnings of my great book purge project and my initial sort and my home tour. If you didn't, I will link that down below. What I basically did was 2 days ago, it was June 21st, it was a Thursday, and I took a few hours in the morning to take you through my house and show you the books that were not in bookshelves. And then I turned off the camera and I hauled all of those books into my living room, and then later on in the evening I sorted those by genre. Then yesterday I had just a couple of minutes and I filmed a little clip, and then I spent the rest of the afternoon editing that video and getting it uploaded. I had to spend the morning yesterday working. I have 3 part-time jobs, and my third job is to drive a lady who doesn't drive anymore, and I take her on errands on Friday morning. So I spent 3 hours with her and then had some of my own errands to do. Got home, filmed that clip, then started editing. Then by the time my husband got home, it was time to fix supper, and so we ate dinner, and then I still had to go and finish my grocery shopping because I don't like to have to take my daughter on grocery shopping if I can help it. And went to Walmart, 9 o'clock at night. I hate doing that, but it had to be done. So then I got back home, uploaded my video, and I started thinking about what my plan of action was going to be now on technically day 3. Although really day 2 I didn't get much done other than editing the video. Now you can see why I need a channel break, because when I have to edit videos, it takes a lot of my day. So I want to make this as quick and concise as possible, show you a few clips of what I'm going to do during the day, and not make it a huge big thing to have to edit. But I told you that I would take you through my process. I know for sure that I am a bit of a perfectionist, so that stalls me out from being able to get things done quickly. I have a hard time just jumping in. I have to do a lot of planning and preparation, which is why I've let my house get to the point that it is. But also in my mind, there are certain things that I can't do until I do something else. There's always another job that has to get done before I can do whatever it is that I want to do. Something always hinges on something else, and that's kind of true of my task today, because I said that I was going to take the books that I've sorted, start pulling out each category or genre of books that are on shelves, and then put those all together, and then try to eliminate some more from my shelves, and then put them all back. However, in trying to decide where to start, I feel like I need to start here and figure out what's going to go here. And in order to figure out what's going to go here, I've got to move my husband's books. Well, in order to move my husband's books, I got to have a place to put them, and that would be around the corner. And the shelf around the corner has some of my stuff, and it hasn't been cleaned or dusted in I don't know when. So that's where I have to start. I have to start with the shelf around the corner. Let me show you that real quick. Here is the shelf. The majority of what's on it does belong to my husband, but right there in the middle are some boxes. Those are my card and stationery boxes. I used to be a big customer of Current. I still do get things from them as I run out of things. I keep birthday cards, thank you cards, all occasion cards, blank note cards, stickers, all that kind of stuff is right there, and I enjoy having those things because I do like to mail cards. I don't mail them as often as I should, but I enjoy having them, and it's great when I need a birthday card. I don't have to go shopping for it. I already have a box of birthday cards ready to go for all ages, and I can just grab something and mail it. Those need to find a different home because I need to clear my stuff off of here and make this shelf solely for my husband and get my stuff out of the way. So that is going to be the first project. I need to dust this, take everything off. Then after that's done, then I'm going to move over probably to these shelves, kind of go through these and do a quick sort and see which of my things I can get rid of and go from there, so that then I can take his books off of this top shelf and that shelf and move these over to here and here. Okay, so that's my first task. I'm going to turn off the camera. I'm going to get that done, and then I'll come back and tell you what my next job will be. Now, of course, I can't do work around my house without having some sort of audiobook. My phone is currently charging, so for right now, I'm going to bring my CD player that was in the kitchen into here. I am going to be listening to An Amish Love. This is 3 novellas by Kelly Long, Kathleen Fuller, and Beth Wiseman. I already finished Frog Kisser by Garth Nix, and it was wonderful. I can't wait to tell you about it after I'm done with all of this and I'm doing wrap-ups again. Sort of a retelling of the Frog Prince, but with a lot of twists and turns. And I never read The Frog Prince, but I'm pretty sure that this goes in a whole different direction, a whole nother storyline, but it has a lot of those elements, and it's super cute, and I absolutely loved it. And then on my phone, once I get my phone back and it's through charging, I'll show you on my Kindle what I'm listening to. It is Healing Hearts by Beth Wiseman. This contains one of the novellas that is in this book. So this is what I'm listening to right now, and then when I get my phone back, I will listen to Healing Hearts a little bit more. Okay, so it's about mid-afternoon. I have made a good amount of progress today. I'm still working, but it's really gray outside, and it's just gonna, keep getting darker. So I thought I'd just go ahead and stop and show you my progress so far. So this shelf, I said earlier I was going to clear off my card boxes and clean it and everything. And so I have done that, and I have organized my husband's nonfiction books here. Pretty much everything on the shelf belongs to him. It's pretty good for right now, and I am really happy about it. Then over here on the other side, I have not worked on the shelves in the far corner yet. Those are mostly DVDs, audiobooks, home movies, and stuff like that. But I have worked on these shelves. These are our books that we own jointly, basically. A lot of them originate with my husband. Some we have acquired, since we've been married. They are, the majority of them are nonfiction. I have a lot of other nonfiction, and those may get moved around and changed when I get to the other shelf. I was just kind of organizing what I had, here at this point. Some of these will probably get moved and shifted around. So as I've been taking little breaks today here and there, I've been checking the comments and answering comments that some of you have written on my first purging video, and one comment was from Amber from Amby Crafts Reads, and she asked me if I would kind of give you the statistics of what I'm getting rid of and what I'm keeping in the different genres and things like that, and I absolutely will. As of right now, I can tell you that for the books on these two shelves, and then also I forgot to show you, I did clear off one of my husband's shelves there. It's the lower empty one. Those were all his books. And then up top, I have cleared about half of that space. What I basically did was take down the nonfiction from that shelf, and what's still there is fiction, and I may leave that. If I leave it on, I don't have any space on the other side. I might move it down to the farther section down there. I don't know. We're just going to have to see. So anyway, what I have so far accomplished, I have purged 22 books from, what I have gone through so far. And there's at least 12 books that I took off the shelves from here that I do want to keep. I just haven't decided where to put them yet. And in case you're wondering about this picture that I keep flashing past, that is our oldest daughter, Emily, when she was just a little peanut, and my husband, Randy. This would have been in probably 2002. Anyway, she's 17 now. So anyway, that is my progress so far, and now I think I'm ready to go ahead and start bringing some of my favorites into here. Well, actually, what I'm going to do next is move these boxes out of the way, and I'm going to dust everything. All of the books that are even staying need to come out, and I need to do some dusting for this section, and then I'll start bringing in some of my keepers. And I'm back. It's day 4. It's Sunday afternoon. We've been to church. We've had lunch. Katie's home. In fact, well, she's been on a church youth trip to World Changers, and they got back just as the church service was ending, so everyone got to greet them. And now, of course, she is taking a nap. I'm sure she didn't get enough sleep while she was on the trip. And I am back here now to try to get some more done. So I thought I would catch you up on what I did yesterday. Last night I worked a good bit on some of the shelves that are behind me, and I think my next task today is to work in the living room. There is a shelf that has 5 shelves, and yesterday I took the bottom shelf, I took everything out, and I put just my husband's Civil War books there. It wouldn't quite hold everything. I put a few of them over here, but it held the majority, and they were the nicer coffee table type books. So those are there, and then there's 3 shelves that have mostly Katie's books. There are photo albums in a couple of them, so I'm going to leave those. But I think I'm going to go ahead and pack up Katie's books, because once she gets her room, then we'll be buying bookshelves for her, and her books can go in her room. So I may as well just go ahead and box those up now, so that while I'm getting mine reorganized, I can decide what I'm going to put in there. I think I'm going to put Christian fiction in the living room. I need a good place for them. I've acquired a lot of Christian fiction, you know, in the last several months, and I only have a small section that's allocated for that in the utility room. Some of my favorite books would be considered Christian fiction, and I'm going to leave them here, like the Jan Karen books, but the majority of them I'd like to keep together, so I think that's going to be their home for now. Anyway, so let me show you what I got done last night, and I'll get behind the camera and show you just a little bit more. I did do some footage yesterday, which you will have already seen at this point, but so much of it was dark that when I edit this, I'm going to show you just a very limited amount of the dark stuff. I'm hoping now that since it's the middle of the day that the lighting is a little bit better than in some of the footage that I shot last night. So behind me, this is where I was standing. I left some of my husband's books there. That is the majority of his fiction. Then over here, these are mine. There are some book club books, some we've read, some we are going to be reading this year, some are books about books, things like that. So for now, that's where I'm going to keep those. I've still got a little bit of space there if I need to add to those. Then on the next shelf, I have my Jan Karen books, my Effie Leland Wilder, the Fairacre series, and then all my Fannie Flagg books. Hi Bob, how you doing? Alright, so the next shelf down, I have Miss Julia. I'm still missing a few Miss Julias. You know, I didn't set out to collect those, but as I would see them in decent condition, I decided just to go ahead and start getting them. So Miss Julia is probably my second favorite series of all time. Then over here, I've got Emily Richards. And I thought I had collected all 3 of the Happiness Key books in trade paperback. But wouldn't you know, when I got everything up here, I thought, where is Happiness Key? I thought I had Happiness Key in trade paperback. Well, I found it along with my mass market paperbacks. I didn't have it in trade paperback. And look at this. That just won't do. So even these 2 are not the same height. So I'm going to have to maybe go to the used bookstore and see if I can find Happiness Key in the trade paperback. I would love to get them all in hardcover, but I've never even seen these in hardcover. So I'll just have to be happy enough with the trade paperback. It was pretty tough just to find the Shenandoah album series in hardcover. I ended up ordering one of them online, and it, you know, I love them. They're beautiful, but they were hard to find. Okay, so farther down, I haven't decided exactly what all I'm going to put here. The next shelf down, I've got Philip Gully. I have Marie Bostwick books there. I'm still missing a couple of those. Still got some space here, and then I have the Julie L. Cannon trilogy, the True Love trilogy. And then this is a set of books I've had for a long time. I think I've only read the first two. I need to revisit these. These were some of my mom's favorites. Train to Esteline is the first one. They are by Jane Roberts Wood, and those are really good. They're pioneer type stories. Then moving on down, I have my hardcover Grace Livingston Hill books up to this point. Starting here with Lantern Hill, I have Lucy Maud Montgomery, a few hardcovers, older editions, and then the paperbacks are double stacked. I have my Anne of Green Gables box set that's behind there. And at some point I want to do a video about all of the lesser known titles that Lucy Maud Montgomery wrote. She's got some really good ones, some fun short stories and things like that. Okay, future me is going to step in here and insert a little bit of footage with a little better lighting. It is now daytime. My shelves are not exactly where they were when I was filming that original footage. I have added even more and changed things around, but that's okay. On this particular shelf that you're looking at is my Grace Livingston Hill on the right and Lucy Maud Montgomery on the left. And then below that is Laura Ingalls Wilder and all things related to her. On the very bottom shelf are some old detergent boxes that have been covered. I think my mother did that. Maybe I did it. I don't know. I've had these forever. These are my old teen magazines from the 70s and 80s, and I love having them. I don't think I can give any of them up. I don't know. I will look in them and see. But anyway, right now that's what's on the bottom shelf. Then moving over, I have not decided exactly what's going to go on that bottom shelf. There's some old decorating books, and I don't know, I may not keep those. Next shelf up is Happy Hollisters and Nancy Drew. Then I have children's classics. The majority of these are ones that I have acquired in adulthood. There is one book. It is Eight Cousins by Louisa May Alcott that I have had since I was a child. But most of the children's books that I've had since I was a child that I still have are on a different shelf. Going up from there, I have Christian nonfiction and a couple of Bibles, and then I have on the right a little bit more Christian nonfiction, and then Christian fiction. I have Jeanette Oak and maybe one by T. Davis Bunn that just kind of fits there because they wrote a lot of stuff together. So and then I have all Jeanette Oak up there. I used to try to cram all of my Jeanette Oak on one shelf, but I have gotten a couple more and I didn't like how it looked to have some of them crammed in on the top, so I have a shelf and a half now for Jeanette Oak. Then to the right, I'm going to go ahead and go back and show you the older, darker footage because the future me has already changed the shelves to the right a lot, and I want to show you how it was first, even though it's dark. I haven't done anything over here yet. I've got a lot of nonfiction. My classics are there. My mass market paperbacks are there. My decluttering books are there, and other nonfiction. And then up here, I'm going to check with my husband and see if we can't get rid of most of this. That is just some old computer things, and that hasn't even been touched since the last time we reorganized the shelves. I think probably most all of that is outdated and it could probably go. So I will let him deal with that, and hopefully I will come out with having another empty shelf that I can put books on. Okay, so this is the shelf I was telling you about. All of those are Katie's. Those are double stacked, and those I think are double stacked, maybe partially, maybe not, and then half of that shelf. So I'm going to pack up all of this and make some room for my stuff. That sounds selfish, but she's getting her own room. So Good morning. It is day 7 of the Great Book Purge, and it is Wednesday, June 27th, and I have been making a good bit of progress, even though I haven't been filming, mainly because this old camera just doesn't pick up a lot of light, and the work I've been doing has been mostly in the early morning or late at night because, you know, life doesn't stop for me to get organized. I have had several things to do, you know, over the last few days. I think the last time I filmed was Sunday, and then on Monday I had to drive to Orlando and take Emily to the doctor. I picked her up at school around noon. I worked a good bit in the early morning, but I didn't feel like I had enough progress to show you at that point. When I got home on Monday night, I did a little more, and then yesterday, Tuesday, I worked at my theme park job most all day. But when I got home, I decided I was going to tackle my general fiction, women's fiction shelf. I pulled it all off the shelf and sorted it on the kitchen table. I pulled the box, or actually, no, I pulled the stacks that had been in the living room, and I, you know, put it all together. I only eliminated 4 books out of all of that, and I had quite a few new ones, but several books got relocated that didn't really fit that category, so I ended up getting just about all of it on the shelf that was allotted for it, so that's awesome. And today I am going to tackle my biggest genre that I have yet to do, and that is mysteries. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll take you in the utility room and show you what I've done so far. Oh, and I haven't tackled middle grade yet either, but I have more mystery than middle grade. I'm going to put my card table in the utility room so that I can pull things off the shelf and sort right there instead of hauling it even the kitchen table, even though it's the next room over, is still, you know, that's a bit much. So I'm going to put the card table up in the utility room and then bring the mysteries that are still in the living room into here, and I'll probably do paperbacks separately from hardcovers because they fit better on the shelves that way. Then I'm still deciding what I want to do with my very bottom shelves, because I have some audiobooks there and they don't stack real good. I'm probably going to go to Target or somewhere and get some of these totes that these cubes that are open. This one is in use already in my office. We have some shelves above our desk, and these keep some of our photos and financial things in some of these. But I want to get maybe 3 or 4 of these and put those on my bottom shelves to hold audiobooks and things like that, and also maybe books that I'm going to be purging, books that I am done with that are going to go to the little free library or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of what I have in mind, but I don't have those yet. So let me take you and show you what I've done so far in the utility room and what I am going to be doing today before I start the laundry. And I have been flying through audiobooks lately. I finished 2 audiobooks yesterday. One that I had been working on little by little. I finished it yesterday, last night late, while I was sorting my fiction. And then the day before that, on Monday, I finished 2 audiobooks that I had already started previously and listened to another short one in its entirety. So in the last 2 days I have finished 5 books, but I'm trying to finish up some things that I had started and they were on my TBR because Tome Topple is coming, and I have been setting aside my books and getting audiobooks ordered and downloaded for Tome Topple. I might still do some sort of Tome Topple video. I'm not quite sure. I have 9 books potentially to read for Tome Topple. 3 are print books and the rest are audiobooks, and we'll see how that goes. But I will definitely, when I get all of them from the library, I will take a picture of them and post that on Instagram. Alright, so let's go in the utility room and I will show you what I am doing today. Okay, so here I am in my utility room. This top shelf is what I did last night after work. This is my women's fiction, and I guess some of it's probably general fiction, but for the most part it's women's fiction. It's not really organized alphabetically. So on the left side are books that I have, you know, several by the same author, and then on the right side are mostly standalones or just, you know, different categories. Like the stack here that is up top, those are all books that are related to scrapbooking, and they're fiction. I will probably organize these a little bit better at some point, but I was mainly sorting by size and author just to get them all in there. And I even still have a little tiny bit of space, so that's good. I haven't done anything with middle grade on this shelf, except that on the two lower shelves there is some middle grade and YA series, and then down below that also some middle grade and YA fantasy, some series and some not. So that is fairly well organized. Everything will probably get changed a little bit. And then on the very bottom, those are audiobooks. These are what will probably go in one of those totes. In that box are my misread books, and I'd like to put them on a shelf. Probably over here to the right, I've got a blank shelf there. I'm thinking I may put my misread books here, and maybe one of the guideposts, one or two of the guidepost series. I'm not sure. But this is what I'm going to tackle today, those two shelves of mystery. The upper shelf is paperbacks, the lower shelf is hardcovers. So that's going to be my project for today. And up above that, I've got Amish books, we got Cape Light books, and behind it are Christmas books. Then way up here are my Guidepost and Annie's series, and some of those are going to be coming down and going to this shelf. So then on the lower shelf, I have that bin that sticks out where there's Little Free Library books. I'll probably put one of those totes there too that will fit up inside the shelf and not leave that tote there. It's time for me to get to work. I'm going to get my card table, bring it in here, and pull all of these off the shelf. Alright, it is July the 4th, and it's kind of a gray evening, but I'm going to go around and just show you the state of my bookshelves as they are right now. I haven't really done much in the past week. I finally had a chance today to sit down and go through the footage that I had already filmed and just kind of piece it together and figure out what I still needed to show you. So where I left off was with my mysteries, so that's what I'm showing you here. I have been through all of my mystery books, and I have pulled out quite a few that are not on the shelves that I still feel like I need to read or at least try that series before I give up on them completely. And I will tell you in a separate video what I'm going to do with those and how I'm going to tackle those on my TBR. But for now, here are my two shelves that are Cozy Mysteries. And then on the shelf below the mysteries, I was able to carve out some space for my misread books. And next to them, I've got some Guidepost series, and these are double stacked. There is the Home to Heather Creek series, and then the Patchwork Mystery series, which I have already started reading. And then you can't see behind, but behind the misread books are my Eugenia Price books. I have a whole collection of all of her fiction. And then up above the mysteries, that shelf I have designated for my Amish books. To the right are my Cape Light series, which I'm still collecting. Behind those books in the second layer are all of my Christmas books. So then let me show you the shelves to the left. So here are my other set of shelves. I had already shown you these. These are my fiction, predominantly women's fiction. Then I have now gone through my middle grade books, and most of the standalones are there, and then below that those are mostly series, and then below that those are mostly fantasy. There are some adult and some YA in that shelf. And then I finally did get my totes for the bottom. One is still empty, and then two of them have audiobooks. Okay, now moving on into the office. That very top shelf, that's where that old computer stuff was. I just took that down and put it in a box, and I've still got to go through it with my husband. But I moved my classics there and some of my older books that I brought from my mom's house. Still haven't done much, if any, purging on my parenting books and diet books and my decluttering books, but I am going to be going through those and making a plan for eliminating some of them. Then I did purge quite a few of my mass market paperbacks, which used to all be there. However, I have acquired quite a few new ones. The Jody Thomas books are the 2 stacks in front, and then behind them are the Emily March books. So I do have more than I started with. However, I did eliminate and purge quite a few. Then over there, that is another half shelf of organizing books. So I've got a shelf and a half of organizing books and a shelf and a half of mass market paperbacks. And then that very bottom shelf I have not really even looked at. I have not pulled those off the shelf yet. Those are just some taller books, and hopefully some of those can go because I have a small stack of tall books from another shelf that I need to put there. So I just haven't gotten to those yet. And then here in the living room, I have taken Katie's books off of this shelf, and I have replaced them with my Christian fiction. So I have 2.5 shelves full of Christian fiction. Okay, and just to wrap this up, I'm not going to get back in front of the camera. I just got to quickly show you. These are the books so far that I am purging. The box on the floor to the right was the very first box I showed you in the earlier video that had books that Katie needed to go through. So she went through those and just pulled out 2 to keep, and the rest can go. And so there are a total of 17 books in that box. There's a box and a bin full of nonfiction there on the floor, and there are 69 books there. Over here there are 7 audiobooks, and I will be going through more audiobooks. I have not gone through all of them yet, so there probably will be more that I can let go of. But for now, there are 7. And then that box has mysteries. There are 24 mysteries that are going. And then that box right there is middle grade. It's a combination of fiction and nonfiction, and it's about half and half, 22 fiction and 23 nonfiction. And then in the very back there are 2 boxes of fiction, and there are 48 books in those 2 boxes. Now I want to just call your attention to 2 boxes that are stacked up here. The top box is fiction, and below it, you can't really tell, but it's nonfiction. Now I'm going to be adding more to these boxes, but what these are books that I'm pretty sure I can let go of after I read them. I am going to start a special TBR jar for these TBR unhauls, and I'll be doing that in a separate video and talking a little bit more about what's going in the TBR jars and drawing out several probably each month. And I'll let you know a little bit more later in a different video about exactly how that's going to work. So I'm excited about that. And then also, I'm not going to show you specifically what all is in these boxes, but I am going to do the Book Unhaul Challenge tag that was created by Lala from Books and Lala. I've been watching that, and I think that's a fun tag. So that'll give you a little taste of some of the books that I am letting go. And then eventually over time, I will try to do some bookshelf tours. And you could let me know what you are most interested in. Like, after seeing just a glimpse of my newly reorganized shelves, what are you most interested in seeing? So altogether, there are about 210 books in this batch of books that we are letting go and purging from our household. Then there's roughly 50 to 55 books here that are in my potential TBR unhaul stacks. So there will definitely be more going into those boxes. I'll probably start with those, and then I'll just keep adding gradually as I decide to add more books to the pile. So that's all for this video. I'm going to wrap this up, and I will be back soon with those other videos that I just mentioned. And meanwhile, I've got to go read some books for Tome Topple. So I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.